This is book review number 2, Last Days Madness by Demar. Here's the contents of the book, which is much like a systematic eschatology, a systematic work on eschatology. As he, in certain spots in here, he takes issue with dispensational scholar J. Dwight Pentecost, who wrote, and I'll do a review of that book, Dispensational Work, which I disagree with, but he might be taking a page of the Pentecost book, who wrote a systematic eschatology from the dispensational perspective, and he laid it out very, very well. But I'm going to try to show you the contents here, if I can. I want you to get it all. There's contents there. And the next page is more contents. But this was one of the first books 15 years ago, me coming out of Adventism. I didn't study my way into Adventism. I was a troubled youth. Even the day I was baptized, my father told me into the Adventist church at 18. I was hungover, chronic alcoholic by 18. But at the age of 15, I got interested in things like this, and I automatically went to the Adventist church because that's where my father went. But when coming out of Adventism, there's 2 or 3 books. There was this book that was lent to me by my friend Larry Hamilton, who was a full preterist, a good brother that we study on the phone together and in person once in a while for hours upon hours. This book here, J.S. Russell's The Parousia and Who is This Babylon by Don Preston. And Who is This Babylon by Don Preston impressed me quite a bit because it showed, well, it can't be the papacy as the harlot, Babylon, as I was taught as an Adventist. But this here is a systematic, you could say a systematic in the sense, work on eschatology. It is an amazing, amazing work. If you look on Amazon, it's been years, but just the reviews are amazing. This book I couldn't recommend more highly to anyone. As if you didn't see clearly the table of contents, let me read it. Chapter 1, the dating game. 2, when will these things be? 3, when did Jesus come in glory? 4, timing is everything. 5, see that no one misleads you. 6, signs for all to see. 7, the temple of doom. 8, the abomination of desolation. 9, the past great tribulation. 10, signs in the heavens. 11, sun, moon, and stars. 12, the return of Christ. 13, the gathering the elect. 14, this generation or this race. 15, the passing away of heaven and earth. 16, avoiding rapture fever. 17, no evidence for a rapture. 18, who's got the number. 19, technology and the mark of the beast. 20, identifying the beast. 21, identifying Antichrist. 22, the man of lawlessness, part 1. 23, the man of lawlessness, part 2. Chapter 24, Armageddon theology. 25, Daniel 70 weeks. 26, today's world and prophecy. 27, mystery Babylon. 28, Russian due judgment. And the appendix, Can God Tell Time? Well, that sounds like Preston's book, Don Preston's book, Can God Tell Time? That's the first appendix. The second, Fruitless Trees in National Israel, appendix part 3, Anti-Semitism and Eschatology. 4, Sola Scriptura and Prophecy. And 5, Zechariah 14 and the Coming of Christ. But I should have looked into, because it's been years since I read this, I should have looked into what he has to say about the passing of heaven and earth. Because Demar always took things farther. He was more of a strong partial preterist like myself than Gentry. Um, so I'm just kind of curious here. You know, he's speaking of heaven and earth. Yeah, he's referring to Second Peter. He believes that Second Peter's been fulfilled. The heaven and earth of Matthew 24 has been fulfilled. Let's see what else he has to say. But half of this book's on the Olivet Discourse. I mean, if you have John Bray's book on the Olivet Discourse, Marcellus Kick on the Olivet Discourse, and this, and N.T. Wright's the Victory of God, which he devotes 250 pages to the eschatology of Jesus. If you have a couple of these, you're doing pretty good. But yeah, he's pretty much just speaking the heaven and earth here of the Olivet Discourse, pretty much. Yeah, that's what he's speaking of. So I couldn't recommend this more. Last Days Madness, for a counter to dispensationalism and an affirmation of postmillennialism, which I don't agree with, but preterism, partial preterism. A great work.